I don't need a microphone. I have a large, powerful kung fu voice. Professor Chong gave me my Chinese name before I had even met him. My good friend, Professor Thomas McCombs, was translating a bunch of Lu Dun Bin's spells, and he had asked the professor to come up with a name for me. And I lived next to the raging river, so that was easy. So Xiang, raging river, and a protection master. Though because he had a love for puns and jokes, he said that it could be protection, but it also could mean dung weevil if you pronounce it slightly differently. So I received a nice stamp from Dr. Tom, my internal kung fu teacher, that had been translated from the professor. And then he came to visit my school. This would be probably 20 some odd years ago. And we discovered that we both had a love for bamboo. And at that time I had 26 different kinds of bamboo, and I think he had over 110, he said, at that point. But I had one that he didn't have, and so I gave him some of that, and we traded bamboo, and that was good. I got to visit his home here. Well, actually, I visited his place on the University District. I helped clean his apartment a few times on Sandpoint Way. Here in Camino, usually because I'm a strong, powerful guy, when we went down to the beach, he would find the biggest, most powerful rock. Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, we'll get to that one. I won't forget. Yeah. So we go down to the beach and we find a big rock, and he wants to put it in his, one of the pavilions. And so I carry it up there for him. Next time I go to the beach, it was a big windstorm, and there was a boat that had gone down the beach, and I ended up dragging a boat up the beach for half a mile because he wanted me to put it back where it come from. I did get a giant buoy from that trip though, so that was kind of nice. He had a perchance to see things that most people didn't see. He told me that the sea would bring him dragons. And there are logs down on the beach, and I have a picture there that's in that disc that you can't open, that shows literally a beautiful dragon in one of the logs. So he could see those kinds of things. And then one day this young lady calls me and says, "My dad needs a refrigerator in his house, would you mind helping?" And usually I have a problem with this, because usually I say yes. So I got to go to the apartment in Seattle, and we put a big refrigerator in the back of my pickup truck and took it to his house. Well, as you know, Lynn is not the biggest or the strongest person in the world. So how did I get the refrigerator into the house? Are you upset? You resemble that remark. Yeah, so anyway, yes, I moved the professor's rocks and his refrigerator, but, and this is the best part, his poetry graces my Kung Fu club and will even after I'm gone. You were discussing the idea of harmony. He wrote for me a thing called East-West Harmony Pavilion. The day before he passed, we ate peaches from my garden of immortality. So I know that he's in heaven, and he's doing a good job by all that. It says that at the feast of Shi Wang Wu that they ate the peaches of immortality, but on the other side it says the great Eastern Father showed up wandering. So he just showed up at the party not knowing. So this is the professor's sense of humor as far as how life is. So there's a big party, and if you were wise, you would show up not knowing that it was a party, but you would be there that day. The other poetry that he wrote for my school is Fusan Guan, literally a Tiger Mountain training hall. It says that tigers create mighty, and mighty begets justice. And on the other side it says, mountains create heavenly fairyland, and heavenly fairyland creates able practice. All of the scripts inside my Joss house have been translated by the professor. My internal exercise teacher, Dr. Tom, had a lineage poem that the professor had been translating, and that's basically how we become acquainted. He had come to my house on Thursday with his daughter and Dr. Tom, and they were coming to celebrate the 25th anniversary of my Kung Fu school, which was last week. Thursday, the professor helped teach my kids class. He watched my Wing Chun class. We went out to dinner in Issaquah. We watched the Red Cliff movie, part of the Three Kingdoms thing. He told us all about the excitement of Liu Bei and all that kind of fun things. The next morning, I found him at the bottom of the stairs. That wasn't what I had planned for Friday. So the good news is that he passed quickly, as we mentioned, that he did not suffer from the process. And in my mind, he picked the most auspicious day to pass. Because the next day, I was blessed by another Kung Fu club with a Chinese lion dancing costume. And another one of my students had gone to a garage sale. And he had found another lion at the garage sale that he bought for $12. And he brought that lion to my school. And so in the morning, I had 2 lions, but by the afternoon, I had 4 lions. Now, the lions represent the generals from the Three Kingdoms period. Liu Bei and Cao Cao and all those guys are different lions in the tradition. And when we looked at the back of the lion that we found at the garage sale, it had the signature of the Kung Fu teacher who was at my school doing lion dancing. So we don't know how it got there. We think it's probably Taoist magic. So we honored the professor where he fell with lions and dragons. We spun fire that night and burned a whole pile of spirit money. So when we're done talking and telling stories, I want you to gather over here by my little, what we call traveling Taoist services. And if you'd be so kind, burn some spirit money for the professor. We'll burn some incense. Ring some chimes and gongs, and we can bless him. I will be doing this for the next 7 weeks. So traditionally, every week for 7 weeks, we'll do a little service for the professor. And at that point, then he'll just be at my parties every time the year comes around. So anyway, I loved him dearly. He had such a wonderful sense of humor. I'm going to leave you with basically a joke, because he would appreciate jokes. Once upon a time, there was this great Kung Fu teacher. One of his students came to him and said, Sifu, I got in a fight and I lost. And he goes, well, what happened? He said, well, I used the techniques you taught me and we did all the things, but I still lost. Sifu says, you must be like an orange. Like an orange? Yes. The skin is thick on the outside, but inside is the seed that sprouts the knowledge that you need in order to be able to grow and become better at your skills. He sort of goes, oh, yes, Sifu, I'll go practice. And so he comes back a while later, Sifu, I got in another fight. So what happened this time? He said, I lost again. So what? I know. You must be like a banana. And the student goes, like a banana? And he goes, what does that mean? And the Sifu goes, I don't know. My Sifu didn't tell me either. I end with this poem from Lao Tzu. It says, creatures that eat grass are not put out by a change of pasture. Creatures that are born in the water are not put out by a change of water. They can live with minor changes, but not with change to that which is most significant. Joy, anger, sadness, and happiness do not enter into their breasts. All under heaven, all forms of life, come together in one. Obtain the one and merge with it, and all your 4 limbs and the 100 joints will become just dust and ashes. For death and birth, ending and beginning, are nothing more than the sequence of night and day. And I leave you with one more poem.
Hi, my name is Zheng. I'm a Chinese medicine doctor. Dr. Lu Sheng Zhong is my friend, so very close, 2 names. But the really cause we meet each other is because we have a common. Many years ago, I had a clinic acupuncture, and Brenda was a student of Dr. Chong, who learned calligraphy from him. So I knew that Dr. Chong loved the bamboo, and they asked if possible to I get some bamboo from you. He said, oh, yes. So the bamboo I still keep till today in my clinic, in my volcano, my home. It's very green. The reason we love the bamboo, because we think the bamboo is straight up, so it means honest, the nature of the bamboo. And the bamboo is empty heart, right? Not like the tree. Yeah. So in Chinese, the same word is humble. Humble. Xixin, bamboo is no thick heart inside. And bamboo never fly with the hot weather, never like too warm or too cold, always green, evergreen. So that's the reason I think we have the common. So we get together, and last week, 1 week ago, Dr. Zhong came to
2 weeks ago.
no, 1 week ago. Last Sunday. Last Sunday.
2 weeks Sunday. He was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago?
That's 8 days. 8 days. I confirmed that. 8 days. 8 days ago. Yeah. Yeah.
Came to see me with his daughter. And I told him, you are not the cold symptoms. He thought, I got the cold symptoms. And I can tell, because from his pulse. So there's internal problem. I need to pay attention about. I keep him acupuncture in my house, and then spend the night in my house. The second day, Monday, past Monday, right?
24th. 24th of the next day.
Another acupuncture.
23,
Some
24.
herbs. So he went back with the doctor. And the second day, when I called him, he said, oh, I feel much better. Unfortunately, third day, after the party, and the Friday, it happened so suddenly. So surprised I was. But I think it's lucky, unlucky, we say. But he doesn't suffer a lot, no. The first time he came to see me 2 years ago, August, is 16, right? 2016. He had a single.
Shingles.
For him. So there's the 2 times he lived in my house. And so I believe Dr. Zhang is so nice to people. He would be in the head, in another good dimension, I believe. And I hope someday I will go to meet with him. As long as we are as honored, as nice people, as we as like Dr. Zhang, I believe. So that's why I draw a picture today in the car to give to his daughter. I believe he's happy to wait for us with a cramp, right?
That's picture.
We give you a hug.
Oh, thank you. Just hold it.
Oh, yeah. We can put one hand. Yeah. Let me show you.
So you want to come with you?
Some pictures of me and Dr. Choi. Yeah, I think Michael has.
So, that, I believe, is his ghost.
Why?
I was the last one I had his blood on my hands.
I see.
It was the night of the Ghost Festival. I don't know, it's a picture. It does, but it was that night, it was only maybe 10 or 12 hours after he passed.
You mean the third day?
He's right here.
No, it's that morning.
There
This
he
was
is.
this, the
He's
morning.
he's right there. That's his face. That's his face. Yes.
And where is it?
My yard.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
So I have all this. There's all this bamboo, dragons. But I want to show you Professor though. So let's see here. We find that. Oh, and we fight with fire too. So here's a fire dragging his junk. Sorry. But it, yeah, of course. So here I am on the beach with the boat.
Yes.
Then we drug the boat up the water. You know, and said here, just drag it for half a mile. Well,
Yeah.
Excuse me, fine. He wrote all the kanji for my school.